she had a small rock in her hand, and she touched it to my neck, and it branded me with this crazy symbol. And the next thing I knew, I looked like this, and I sounded like this, and frankly, I smelt like this. And I had lost my mojo. Um, Fortunately, I believe that this rune was intended to kill me, or at least slowly kill me. And he describes the concept of a ability going to a zero and how you can't survive that. But he does it in not metagamey terms. He says, I believe this was intended to take all of my mojo and leave me an invalid.
When you say mojo, do you mean your strength of personality?
Yes. That's exactly what I mean.
Which would be important to a bard and a paladin.
Yes. It went right to the heart of the power I need to be a bard and a paladin.
Some might even call it charisma.
One might call it that, if one was using words like that.
Does Jobu think that death would break that magic?
Jobu, this is advanced level stuff. This is PhD Arcana. So make an Arcana roll.
Okay. Did we gain inspiration last time? Because I'll use it.
Yeah, you can have one inspiration for every screen I put you on today, and you'll see what I mean in a minute. Because his house isn't the last screen you'll be looking at today. You don't know.
Wow. Too much rum. Perfect.
You don't know. You think it's worth a try because this little troll is annoying.
Well, and we can bring him back. And
Yeah, that's right.
Broke the magic. It's perfectly fine. Just death forgives all.
Okay, so yeah, you don't know. You don't know. You don't know. You think what you know is what the possibilities are. That it would work, that it wouldn't work, or that it would have some really horrible result, like like when Dr. Crusher tried to disconnect Captain Picard from the probe that he was living a whole different life in. So you may ruin him.
I would say if you killed him, you might stop the magic, but he might be stuck where he is.
Yeah, they're with the 13, 14.
Yeah.
All you can think of is the bad things that might happen.
Oh,
All right, moving on. It says, so what she didn't know is that I am a blood magician myself. And you guys are going to learn more about blood magic, I promise, as part of this conversation as well. There's a lot of circles in these conversations. But I know blood magic, Simi knows blood magic, and these runes I recognized as blood magic. And because I know blood magic, I believe I had some sort of defense against the effects of this rune. So instead of, and again, to do what Hugh is doing and slip simply into game terms, he had resistance to its effects. So rather than taking the full mojo drain, he probably took a half mojo drain.
Cinder says, I'm assuming, since I assume you could cast this, that a greater restoration would not have any amelioratory effect.
Penelope, you remember Penelope, the Gynard cleric?
Mm-hmm.
She says, I've tried every spell in the book. I've tried dispelling magic. I've tried greater restorations. I've tried everything I can, and they all just, he's still this ugly little troll when I'm done.
And that's not offensive at all.
She doesn't seem to have, she seems to have the same charisma as him, and she doesn't have a rune on her neck.
Right, okay. She's a Helios.
Yeah.
wow.
female idiots.
Well, it just means probably, and again, I'm just a barbarian. But
Okay, well, as long as you tried the great restoration, I figured it wouldn't work, but I just want to throw it out there.
I'm guessing that you have to get it back from the one that got it from you. It's a very direct thing.
This seems like horrible thing magic.
So, anyway, he says, so I wasn't as hurt as she thought I was, but I managed to basically fake it. Even though I was really enthralled by her, she was asking me a lot of questions, and I was answering them because I couldn't stop myself. She was so charming. But I did remember my training well enough to sometimes misdirect her. I could never really lie to her, but sometimes I didn't tell her the whole truth. Sometimes I managed to delay her. I was hoping you guys would get here quickly and be able to help me. But unfortunately, she had left before you guys showed up. But she showed up on the same day that I called for your help, an old magic spell. I managed to cast an old magic spell to call my truest friends to my side. I wasn't sure how it would manifest itself. She softened me up for a couple of days. Tried to... Sounds like somebody logged out from Discord. It looks like everybody's there.
It was actually you for a second.
Oh, okay.
Mark's strong.
Yes, he is.
Mark's
I was counting 6, but there should be 7.
Who's
So
gone?
really counting Mark.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, maybe he'll be back.
Yeah, I'll go over this part real quick. But so she was softening me up for a couple of days as I was trying to delay her, but still answering all of her questions. She actually threw her sexual favors on me. Apparently my reputation as a playboy served me well because she didn't, I think, recognize that I was delaying her and misdirecting her while she was trying to get this info out of me. But eventually she got me to give the location of a specific item that she wanted. And he says, if you'll follow me, I'll take you over to my trophy room. And he gets up and walks out of the room. I assume you all follow.
Sure.
Yes.
And takes you into a room that has, you guys recognize a thoroughly, methodically looted treasure room when you see it. And this was not hastily done. Okay? There are, mannequins, around, armored dummies that don't have any armor on them. There are, little heads that have the imprints that maybe had goggles on them before, and there's no goggles there now. There's all these cases that are open that look like they had wands or staves or whatever. They're all empty, just, felt imprints inside of them.
No weapons.
Exactly.
This is bad. Like, all of our friends' magical armaments are now in the hands of the enemy.
Yes.
Bad.
But
He says not all of them, but we'll get to that too. I didn't tell her about the, basically the storage rooms, the unsorted vaults. This is just the stuff I had on display. And by the way, I should point out that you guys had to go through a series of, remember that you're in the House of Mystery. You're in a magical house. And to get here, you guys had to pass in and out of this plane of existence and through doors that could be locked, but that weren't locked, because there's no reason to lock them now. There's nothing in here. There was a respectably elaborate security system that she convinced him to bypass on her behalf so that she could get in here. So just to be clear, this stuff wasn't in a living room window or anything like that. It had to be accessed, and she charmed him into accessing it, while his entire staff was basically just asleep because they weren't remotely powerful enough to stand up to the stun that she put on all of them. So those 20.
A
What's
question,
that?
if I may.
Yeah.
Was your best stuff on display, or just your prettiest stuff on display?
He says, well, I shouldn't have used the phrase on display because it.
Well, in the display room.
Yeah. I don't bring people here, but he says best is a. Like, yeah, I'm not sure. Best is one of those words I don't know how to answer. Every item I own has a story, and they're all the best to me.
Yes.
I was thinking in terms of most powerful, as opposed to, a sword that helps you hit a little bit compared to a sword that helps you hit a lot.
But he says, I don't think in those terms. I think about the sword that defeated
Right.
the giant, at the battle of such and such. That's the stuff I've got.
What's the story behind these Saskatoon toe clippers?
Things tend to become magical because they did awesome things.
Like I said, I want to know the story of that one of these days.
Okay, so she softened me up. She spent some additional time looting my house. I took her back here to this treasure room. I didn't take her to the unsorted vaults. Okay, I'm caught back up. He says, but I know what she came for, and now I know what that fake Barkley was looking for. It was Inkatha's staff. And Jobu, you probably broke up at the word Inkatha. He says, so now I get to tell you another story. This will answer all your questions, I think, about Carcosa. This is why we had to go here. Is Mark back yet? Because this is really relevant to Mark.
He doesn't appear to be back.
We'll just have to tell
In fact,
him.
we appear to have lost somebody else.
Is that the spelling?
Who the hell do we?
We lost Derek.
And
We lost Joe Boo.
we lost. No, we lost Ray.
Oh, Joe. Oh, yeah. Okay. Oh, Derek is one time. Okay.
Okay. Well, I tell you what. Let's all go make a drink and pee. It is 10:02. Let's come back at 10:07. And if nobody's back, I'll continue. I mean, I'll give them a chance, but if they're not back, I'll
I
keep
gotta
going.
let the folks out anyway.
All
All
right.
right.
Cool.